Holy crap, we're going to get starters. Yes, we are going to get starters. CJ Stroud will be on the football field this week, plus an update from OHIO as the Texans prepare for the Steelers. Let's go inside the locker room.
You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey, locker room. Yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk. Yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize every angle's what we really do. We the source. We the pulse of the city too. Landlocked. Got the game in the.
Yes, we have starters this Friday. Look at this scene right here. This is from Cody Stoots out there in Ohio. Here is what it looked like today at practice. Let's just go through this. Look at this. It looks like they're in the middle of a damn field. Look at that. How are we doing here? Oh, I believe that is natural grass right there. There we go. That's where they're at. We'll go out to Ohio. Had a little bit of a hiccup yesterday. It was supposed to be in Ohio. Didn't anticipate when I booked this flight that flying out late and connecting to Florida was a bad idea, but kind of learned that yesterday the hard way. Appreciate everyone for getting me to 10.3K. Just the start of things. It's going to be a fun time. Got you covered. If you missed the Madden ratings reaction from earlier in the day, go check that out. CJ Stroud, 7th best player on the Texans offense when it comes to the Madden rating. Some of y'all say, who cares? I think they matter just a little bit for sure. I would say they matter. Practice update. Mixon, Tunsil, Harris still out. I don't know what the concern level is. We did see the Texans sign Cam Irving, the journeyman-ish tackle. I don't know what exactly they're going to do with Cam Irving. Maybe that's just to get a look at him. I think Landry Tunsil is going to be ready for the regular season. He's been getting ramped up, so I think we'll see him eventually. Christian Harris, I really don't know. They've been pretty – I don't want to say it's been as crazy as the Astros are with injuries, but they've been kind of vague on that. And sometimes you see him working on the side field and sometimes you don't. So yeah. Also not practicing today. We had some new names. Not sure what to make of this. Anderson, Hansen, Lassiter, and Hunter all out. Anderson, I think they're just resting up. I'm not sure. Hansen, you saw it on the kickoff. DeMeco brought it up the other day. I mean, he got the crap knocked out of him when he knocked the crap out of someone on that new kickoff. So Hansen, not a surprise that he's out. Lassiter, not sure what's up there. And then we got Hunter. So we'll get an update. We'll hear from DeMeco Ryans in a sec. One of the offseason signings, CJ Henderson, though, he returned to the field. Now, he's going to have to make this squad. He's going to have to show something in order to make this squad, because he is a guy who really is not as good as Okudah. He's not as good as Lassiter. And they have a lot of corners that might not be that good on defense, but they do things on special teams. And we actually saw Henderson early on in camp getting some special teams reps. So we will see how that goes. What is this? Like, everyone asked this, like, how many snaps are you giving CJ without his best protector? I mean, did you watch last year? He was fine without Tunsil, wasn't he? He was okay. He played pretty well in the Colts game. I mean, we don't need to sit him out because Landry Tunsil. If CJ Stroud is at the mercy of Landry Tunsil and whether or not you play him, you're in trouble. Because chances are you're going to have Landry Tunsil banged up. He's going to miss a few games. We're just going to bench him? Nah. You let Fisher hold up, see what happens. And he'll know how to protect himself, and we'll see that. How do I feel about the new kickoff? DeMeco Ryans doesn't seem to be the biggest fan of it. I think it's cool. I have no issue with the new kickoff. I think teams are getting used to it. I think we might get to a point where eventually they're just kicking it out. But I like the new kickoff. I think it's cool. I'm interested to see how they play it. Preseason, not worried about it. Put him out there, let him play. Did it last year too. Didn't get hurt. He can play. I mean, the guys are going to have to play. You're going to have to play behind them. Preseason, doesn't matter. Go out there and play. CJ will be fine. He can protect himself, and they can figure it out. He'll be good. Not worried about it. I don't know how many snaps or what. I don't think he's at the mercy of Tunsil, because the other thing is, when are we going to count on Tunsil playing with the in the preseason? I'm damn sure not. Another national media attack gushing over the Texans. This time you had Brian Baldinger. Let's just look at his Twitter feed here. You can read what he had to say. He was on the scene. I don't know if he lives in Ohio or what, but he was definitely on the scene. At Houston Texans, CJ Stroud, pre-practice warm-up, a natural thrower, but does not concentrate on his core strength and his footwork. But does concentrate on his core strength and footwork. Brian Baldinger, loving these warm-ups. Look at those Jordans that he's rocking. Then he takes another picture of CJ. At Texans, at CJ Stroud, just ran a third down drill, and the ball didn't touch the ground. One rip after another. Everyone ate. This was impressive. Another picture of CJ. Man, he's kind of stalking him, isn't he? This is Steve White. Steve White getting in the mix. Brian Baldinger retweeting. Not a bad fantasy football, better yet, real football lineup of skill players. Diggs, Collins, Dell, Pierce, Stroud. For the latest from Texans practice in suburban Cleveland, watch at NFL Network Inside Training Camp. I'm hanging with Brian Baldinger today. So we'll have to check that out. That'll be cool to see. I always like the good features, the national stuff. I enjoy when NFL Network goes to these camps. So I got a feeling we're going to get Steve White and Baldinger kind of drooling over CJ Stroud, which is A-okay. White was actually there, like I want to say a week or so ago. He was there with Pep Hamilton. So you've had Steve White on the scene a little bit. I guess now in Ohio, a little bit of a different situation. So we'll see how that goes. Killer X God asking about Ohio. Man, blame the airline, sir. Yesterday I had a connecting flight, Fort Lauderdale, and the Fort Lauderdale flight. First, it got pushed back along with the original flight. Then it got moved up to where I wouldn't have made it with the original flight. Then it got pushed back to tomorrow. Then it got pushed back to 11. Then it got canceled. The hell are we doing? Don't know. It happens. I got to go to Chuck E. Cheese with the daughter, though. That was a lot better than that. For sure. Stoots is in Ohio. He's actually going to join us in a second. We're always on the scene. We know how to adjust. We'll get the practice update from Cody Stoots, best in the business, and we'll find out what he's got to do. But let's hear from DeMeco. DeMeco made a big announcement. The starters will play. The starters will play on Friday. So the Hardo DeMeco Ryans, I'm not going to tell you who's going to play. He gone. And we're going to get a look at the starters. Take it away, Coach. That smile, he's feeling it.
Great. How you guys doing?
Does Nick call play, or does he have some back on his old stomping ground?
We're excited to be here, hanging out in Cleveland, being able to get away. First off, get away from the heat for a little bit. So I think our guys appreciate, this weather.
It ain't been that hot, DeMeco.
Here. So it's a really great facility here. Thankful for University School for allowing us to
Coach, it ain't been that hot.
Utilize their fields.
That's a big event, obviously, with Hall of Fame game, Hall of Fame weekend. It's a bonding time for the team to get some extended time this week.
And getting away for a weekend camp, the most important thing about it is you see guys communicate more. You see guys just hanging out more in the meal rooms, just talking, playing video games together. So that's that's what you want as a coach. You want to see your team grow a tighter bond when you're on the road for a week. And that's what our guys are doing. And I'm excited. That's what I'm probably most excited about, is seeing our guys just become tighter as a team. And the tighter we are, I always speak this, the tighter you are as a team, the better your team is, the farther you can go as a team when you have that tight bond.
This was probably one of the better practices the offense had, with the exception of the interception.
I think overall it was a very competitive practice. And our offense, you saw a lot of big plays that our offense made. That's what we want to see. But it's just execution was higher today on both sides of the football. And to see our guys compete, right? Guys be sticky in coverage, see the offense still make plays. Like, that's what I want to see. I want to see a competitive team, and that's what you saw today. And it's always fun to see our offense making big plays.
We talked to you a lot about Aziz, of course, but I mean, today he was all over the field. What did you see from him in practice?
Yeah, I saw Aziz being like the guy that I know he is, the playmaking leader that he is, right? And that's what I expect from Aziz. And he showed that today in practice. It was good to see. Good to see him, flying around. I think he intercepted one, making some big tackles. So it was just fun to see him being who he should be for us. And that's a leader. That's a playmaker.
What about that leadership role that he took when, Diggs and Petrie had a nice little trash talking session, and then he went over to Petrie just to calm him down. It's good to see that type of leadership.
That's awesome. That's why now I can step away and I can move on to the next part of practice, because I know our guys are so competitive, but it's also respectful, right? With Petrie, Diggs, Aziz, like, it's all respect. Guys are really, they're sharpening each other. Like, guys are really competing, giving their ultimately their best. And now Diggs is making Petrie better. Petrie is making Diggs better. And Aziz is there to calm everybody down. So it's really fun to see. Cade has been the guy we saw on tape in Ohio, just tough, right? Making tough, competitive catches.
And wants all
right?
the smoke,
finishing
too.
strong with the football.
Like
the couple plays he made in the game, last Thursday. It's cool to see a guy, like, you see him in practice, but you never quite know how they're going to respond when they get in the game. But it was cool to see Cade just be who Cade has been. Tough, physical, competitive, finishing, like, loving football. That's the Cade I knew and I grew to love watching him at Ohio State, and that's the guy who showed up in the Hall of Fame game.
How did Fisher look to you coming out of Thursday? Seemed like it sort of breaking it down. You saw some things he needs to work on, but no pre-snap issues.
Right. Yeah, overall from the game, I'm pleased with what Blake did in the game. I think he held his own. Again, like everyone, is not 100%. It was things to clean up, just with pad leverage, just getting Blake to do a better job of bending, right? But he has the length, he has the tools, right, to play on the left side or right side, as we've seen. And I know he's benefited from being able to get a ton of reps over at the left side, and I think it'll help us as a team.
You got accelerated on the job training going up against Daniil.
Going against Daniil and Will definitely speed it up for you. So the young rookie has had to learn pretty fast, and it's only made him better. And also, he's had a lot of good reps versus Daniil and Will, so he's held his own. So it hasn't just been totally one-sided as those guys have competed. So Blake has gotten better, but also Daniil and Will has gotten better from going against Blake and Titus as well.
Any update on different values of snaps in preseason games versus some of the practices? Later, you'll have a joint practice. You kind of assign different value to types of snaps that guys get.
When it comes to the snaps in preseason, I think everybody's trying to figure out. Some teams don't play starters, some play. I truly believe in that a guy needs to get reps in a preseason game, right?
Okay.
We don't go to the ground, as you
Right
see,
there.
the way we practice. We try to keep guys up and be as safe as possible in practice. I think everybody needs that opportunity to go to the ground a couple times in the game to just get up, dust yourself off, and know you're good, right? And I'm okay. Like, I can't go to the ground and get up. So you just have to go through and play live reps of football before live action comes in September. So you'll see our ones go out and get reps this week versus Pittsburgh.
Okay. What's up, Stoots? It's a way to get it. Yes, sir.
Those guys will be fine. All right. Luck has nothing to do with what?
Nothing to do with it.
All right, there you go. So DeMeco Ryans, he announces that the starters will play this week. Shout out to Cody Stoots, got it out of him. There you go. The big news right at the end. Cody Stoots going to join us shortly, live from Ohio. We'll also hear from Kenyan Green. Look at Kenyan Green. He's at the podium right there. Look at that game face right there. Tell me he ain't ready to go. He's coming off a good game. We'll hear what he had to say in a sec. Cade Stover also met. We'll do that one in the night stream, and we'll also hear from Case Keenum, who I have a theory about. Going to drop that video tomorrow for sure. So that's really the big news with the Texans is that they're gonna play their starters. DeMeco Ryans told you that philosophically he believes that they need to play. And some coaches do, some coaches don't. I mean, I don't think he's like going to force anyone. Like if Christian, I don't just think we see Christian Harris in the preseason. I don't think it's like that important. But if you're healthy and you're good to go, I think he's one of those guys, and he just told us so, that does believe that. Other practice observations per Stoots and per Baldinger. Apparently Stroud was out there cooking, per the local reporters, local media types, and Baldinger. You had the pass to, I guess there was a touchdown to Robert Woods. There was also a long pass to Collins, and then there was a sideline pass to Dell during one of the periods. The Robert Woods thing is interesting because I don't know, like, what are the Texans going to do at wide receiver? Where are we going with this? Because if Robert Woods is on this team, then I think that makes it very tough for John Mechie, because that would mean that you would have 4 guys that don't play special teams. Woods plays a little bit, and it would be 5 with Mechie. We've also seen Hutchinson perform at a good level, and we've seen Skoranek, more of a special teams guy, a guy that can kind of move around. We've seen him make plays. In fact, one game in, we've seen better on-field production from him than Mechie. So I don't know what the plan is going to be at wide receiver. I think we know for sure 4 that are going to be here. The Robert Woods thing is interesting. We keep keeping an eye on that. It seems like we keep assuming that Robert Woods is going to get cut. But quite frankly, if he was going to get cut, I think he would have been cut earlier. So when you hear that Robert Woods is catching touchdowns in practice, you see and you hear what they say about Robert Woods, you do wonder, is that connected to John Mechie, and is John Mechie's spot safe? I think we need to see John Mechie for 3 quarters against the Steelers. We need to see him getting reps with the ones, and then we probably need to see him getting reps into the second half just to see what you got. Maybe they don't believe that. They love him. There's a lot of aura. There's a lot of intangibles. There's a lot of charisma that comes with John Mechie, and I don't minimize that, but this is a very, very deep wide receiver group. And quite frankly, this is a football team that in the past, they've been functioning under process over results, where maybe you could be a little bit more patient with guys and have them develop. If you're not producing on the field on a team like this, then you could get left behind. And it'll be interesting to see what the plan is at wide receiver, specifically when it comes to John Mechie. I don't know if CJ speaking highly of him helps him or not. I don't think it hurts him, but have you heard him talk about Robert Woods? You know, that would be my other thing. Like, who does CJ not speak highly of? And quite frankly, why would you not speak highly of John Mechie? He's an awesome dude. He's got an awesome following. I did not see what Albright said about Simmons. I don't listen to Albright. He might hit every once in a while, but he actually kind of freaks me out when he started telling his business about his ex and like cheating on her and stuff like that. I stopped following him because I felt like he was sick and needed some help, quite honestly. That might be a little bit too much. I just thought that was really weird and kind of disturbing. Do you think CJ speaking highly on Mech will keep him on the team? Don't know at all. I just don't see how Mechie can make it over Hutchinson if Hutchinson keeps progressing over the preseason. Yeah, I don't know. And I do wonder. I don't know that you can sneak either one of those guys, even John Mechie. Like, I don't think you can release those guys and then bring them back in. I think those are guys that have shown enough flashes and have enough potential to where someone would want to bring them in. Maybe I'm overvaluing it. Maybe I'm a little too close to the situation, but I just don't see those guys sneaking out. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. With that, be interesting to see the next few preseason games. Maybe that's where it ends up going and where it ends up being decided is in the preseason. Let's hear from Kenyan Green. Kenyan Green got a lot of praise from DeMeco Ryans the other day. It is a locker room. Be sure to subscribe, like, ride along. This is the practice report. F the airline for not having me out there, but sometimes you just got to make do. Shout out to Sugarfoot and Adventures of Hollywood 3-6 Mafia making whipped cream out of ranch dressing and taking in the bedroom. Y'all probably don't even get that reference. It was an underrated reality show. But here's Kenyan Green meeting with the media. Let's hear what he has to say. He's looking trimmer. He's looking better. And quite frankly, he hasn't given up those reps at first team left guard. So let's hear from Kenyan.
That's what our offense, that's what we preach, running off the ball, making sure that we get into the second level. And that's what we was trying to, put on tape. Yeah. Yeah, a little surprising, but always good work. When we always come together and pass, so it was a good day. Yeah, definitely, got to. Yeah.
Aaron Wilson loves Kenyan Green, man.
Have you noticed the difference?
What's up, Stoots?
In your play now that you've had the healthy offseason and changed the composition of your body?
Yes, definitely. Just going out there, being able to continue to do the right things each play is the most important thing. Being available and accountable for everything I'm doing. So I'm just happy that I'm out there. Can compete with my teammates.
How much of what you guys do on an offensive line is about getting in a groove, being able to get out there a bunch with Juice, with Blake, and really
definitely in this offense, everything got to click together, especially as a unit, play as one. So being out there, working with everybody, it's just getting everybody better. And I feel like, all it's going to do is just increase our game.
Kenny, how did you feel the other night? All-fan game. Speed pick up a little bit. How'd you handle it?
It was good. Felt good.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is podium critic stuff, and I'm not saying that he's ever been like timid. He's always been very accountable, even during his struggles. But he does seem a lot more confident. Kenyan Green just at the podium.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like out here, we got the best of the best out here on my team. So going out there, it slowed everything down for me, definitely.
Teamwork with you guys, you've been in his shoes, you know what it's like to be the new guy, the rookie. How much you to kind of give him some knowledge and tell him things?
Oh yeah, definitely. The mistakes I made and the things that I'm working on still. And just feeding that to him, making sure that he knows that he's on the right path, and he's doing a great job.
What's it like being in the hotel? You've been away for 5 days already. More to come. Being with the guys after hours. What's all that like?
All it is doing is just us connecting together. Being more of a family. A brotherhood, and it's pretty cool seeing it. Everybody connecting, offense, defense. Just being together. So it's pretty cool.
High school, this is where Nick was a quarterback. What do you think?
I just found that out today, and that's crazy. So it's pretty cool, seeing where his stomping grounds, where he came from. So it's pretty cool.
How about today? A little you can rally, and step out, got
Yeah.
but then you got back in. I mean, it says a little something to get back in practice. How that go for you today?
It's a part of the game. You just got to continue to go. So definitely, I won't like to do that again, but it is what it is. Yeah.
It's a little higher than it looks.
It's surprisingly, yeah. I ain't know how I can get like that, but it definitely do. Mm-hmm.
Week 2, just say how the ones are going to go against the Steelers. How much will that be good for you all to get?
Oh, that's gonna be exciting. Steelers hard-nosed, physical team, so that's just gonna get us prepared for the regular season, going against defensive lines like that, and the linebacker crew they have. So it's gonna be a great battle. Thank you.
All right, there you go. That's Kenyan Green. Much more mature sounding Kenyan Green. Someone on the comments asks Josh Landry, any thoughts on a potential Achilles heel for this squad? What? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what exactly you mean by that, to be completely honest. I don't know what you're asking. Potential Achilles heel, like a potential flaw, like what? I don't know. Kenyan was stacking pancakes in the Hall of Fame game, seems to have confidence back, which is great for him. I don't know that he's ever had confidence at this level. Maybe confidence from college, but I don't, and maybe that's an issue. He was young. I know Nick Caserio kind of compared Kenyan Green's first 2 years to Brevin Jordan. But I don't know that he really ever has had confidence. So I don't know if he got it. Maybe he got it back. Maybe I can get semantic and say that he just got it. But yeah, I think it's there. So DeMeco Ryans says the starters will play Friday in Pittsburgh. It is the locker room, number one source for Texans digital content. What do we need to see? I mean, there's some things. I know DeMeco says it's important for players to get reps and be taken to the ground and all that type of stuff. And I understand that. But what does DeMeco really need to see? I don't think he really needs to see anything specific on offense outside of running back. They need to figure out the running back depth. They need to confirm that they feel comfortable with Dameon Pierce as RB2, and they got to figure out what to do with Cam Akers. So I think he needs to see that. I also think that they really, really, really need to evaluate the safety position, and they need to get a close look at this. We saw over the weekend the Titans signed Quandre Diggs. By the way, you might not know, the brother of Quentin Jammer. A lot of people didn't know that. But Quandre Diggs is a Tennessee Titan. Justin Simmons is the name that keeps being mentioned. Someone said that Ben Albright said something about it. I don't really know what he would say. But it doesn't matter. I'm sure it's just kind of a rumor or something that he's put out there. But yeah, be sure to click the like button, no doubt. But I think they need to evaluate and make 100% sure that they feel okay with Eric Murray potentially starting at safety and Jalen Petrie nickel or safety, along with Jimmy Ward, who's had trouble staying on the field. Because I think a lot of weaknesses can be overcome. And I think they could overcome perhaps a poor run game. I think they could overcome perhaps suspect cornerback play. But I think it's really hard to hide poor safety play. And they really didn't do anything outside of Kalen Bullock. And I don't think Kalen Bullock's ready to completely start right now. They really need to make damn sure. By the way, Cody Stoots joining us live from Ohio in 2 minutes. So his flight made it. Mine did not. So I was at Chuck E. Cheese. He was at some damn drive-through he was talking about. I don't know what. Sometimes Stoots gets to the. And I guarantee you he probably ate there for lunch today with how much he was talking it up. I know him well enough to say that. We'll see. But they need to figure out the safety position. They need to. It's a must. It's not something that is negotiable. They need to find out the safety position. Period, point blank, end of story. I just got my favorite alert of the day. And this is not a infomercial by any stretch of the imagination, but I just got my daily message, sometimes daily, multiple times, from Houston football. Can you see that? Houston football. Let me pull this up. Let me pull this up on the computer and just show you a little snippet of what makes Cody Stoots the best in the world at what he do. So you get the email from Houston football. A lot of y'all used to have the Houston Chronicle. You don't need the Houston Chronicle anymore. You need to subscribe to Houston football, because I know how good of a job Cody Stoots does. I know that the written word is not completely dead. And I know that he's not just going to tap out and go get his daily post in there and then try to trick the editors. This is what happens when you subscribe to Houston football right here. You get this lovely email from Cody Stoots. Look at these observations. 11 observations from the 11th day of camp right there. Look at that. In depth. Oh, 11's not enough. Additional observations, because Cody Stoots likes to go the extra mile. Speaking of the devil. And you can go to Houston Football, figure that out. Speaking of the devil, Cody Stoots, let me guess, you ate at the same place today that you ate at yesterday. Let's be real.
Swinson's Drive-In. They only have it in
You did.
Ohio.
So you did. You mentioned
Yeah,
it
of course.
yesterday, and then I guaranteed that on the way home, you went back there and you got something.
It's on the way. It's the only fast food place on the way.
Okay. I know they had at least 5 Arby's. I've been to Cleveland before. They had at least 5 Arby's. Yeah, don't tell me it was the only fast food, because I know damn well from the training facility to any 10-minute radius, they had at least 5 Arby's on the way.
Now where they're at is east of Cleveland proper. But yeah, there were a lot of Arby's too. But I can't get Swinson's anywhere but Ohio, so I wanted to give it a go. They had the best burger in the nation in 1999. That's what they're hanging their hat on. So.
Let's see. AJD, shout out to you, my friend. Appreciate you for coming through. You're hard on Petrie, man. Who says he doesn't bounce back in a big way? I'm not hard on Petrie at all. If you thought last season was good, then I mean, you're either related to him or you're just kind of delusional. It wasn't good. They're moving him around at nickel. So right now, what I'm looking at, if he is going to move to nickel, that means Eric Murray is going to be in the backfield. Do you feel comfortable with Eric Murray starting at safety? I like Eric Murray. I think he's a valuable piece. Do you feel comfortable with that? I'm not dismissing Jalen Petrie. I've maintained that he's going to have a 10-year NFL career in some way, shape, or form, but I'm not comfortable with Jalen Petrie right now, and they need to figure it out. Appreciate you for coming through, though, AJD, my friend.
You know who's hard on Jalen Petrie for last year? Jalen Petrie. He was not pleased with how he played last year. And part of the reason that they're moving around so much is to maximize what he can do and do well. And, boy, him and Stephon Diggs, oh, man, they did not like each other by the end of practice on this one. So it was I think it was teams. I think it was the third team session. They get down in the red zone, and it's the last play of the team session. And Diggs runs an out in the front of the end zone, and Petrie's all over him. I mean, right there, all over him. The officials throw the flag.
Okay.
Petrie knocks it away, and he's immediately yelling at the officials. He's like, "It was clean. I can't believe you threw the flag on that." Like, he was not pleased. And then Diggs just kind of, I don't know exactly what he said, but he looked back and said something to Petrie. And so then Petrie he swung over, and then he was talking to Diggs. And I think it was something along the lines of like, "You got locked up" or something.
Oh.
And Diggs was like, "Oh no, And so in the middle of the field is Petrie. Diggs is already on the sideline. They're still yelling at each other. And then Davis Mills and the entire second team unit of offense and defense are waiting for them to get off the field so they can start running plays. It was pretty funny. It was definitely pass interference from where I was standing.
Okay, so you would have thrown the flag.
I would have thrown the flag. Yep. Yeah, I would have thrown the flag.
Okay, you would have thrown the flag. What else went down today? So there was some guys out that we didn't anticipate. So you had Hunter out, you had Lassiter out, you had Will Anderson out. What are we doing? Is this just game week, Monday off type of thing? What are we doing here? Because he said they're going to play, so I do wonder if it's kind of like the typical Monday, you're off type of like get ready type of thing. But what are we doing here?
It definitely feels like there's an adjustment to the amount of reps the teams or the guys are going to have throughout the course of the week because they're going to play in that preseason game. And you got to think about this. They were last on the practice field for a real honest to God practice on last Tuesday. So 6 days ago. Now they had a light workout over the weekend, but it wasn't like a practice. And so they're back on the field today for the first time. So if somebody was dealing with something a week ago and they're still dealing with it, that's one thing. Like that's kind of the Will Anderson thing because he didn't practice last Tuesday and then he didn't practice again today, but rather be cautious with him, than anything else. But, Hunter gets a day off probably because he's going to play a little bit on Friday. Same with Kamari Lassiter. Jeff Okudah didn't practice today as well. So they had quite a few guys that were given the day off. No Laramie Tunsil, no Christian Harris, no Joe Mixon, the usual, missing in action players. But they had quite a few guys on defense, missing today.
Yeah, and I anticipate nothing really too crazy to see there. What about Mixon and Tunsil? What are we seeing from them? Still kind of working off on the side or what?
Did not see them working on the side. Your working on the side players were Jake Hansen and Lonnie Johnson, who both got dinged up in the preseason game. They were working off to the side. They went through some of the activation, warm-ups, stretches, whatever you want to call it, along with Will Anderson. Then Anderson watched. Hansen and Johnson worked on the side, but didn't actually see Daniil Hunter, didn't actually see Laramie Tunsil, didn't actually see Joe Mixon. So, and I do wonder if we don't see them tomorrow, if they even made the trip at all.
Okay.
Because if think about this, if you're an injured player that's not going to practice at all, like, isn't it better to stay back with some of the rehab team and rehab in Houston, and not even worry about travel? But again, that just because I didn't see them today doesn't mean that they weren't working out in a weight room or working out back where the team is staying. But if we don't see them at all while they're in Ohio, then there's a question about, did they even make the trip? So it'll be interesting. I thought Joe Mixon might be close to being back because of the way he's been tweeting, and that still very well could be the case, but he was not present as far as I could see today. Neither was Daniil Hunter or Laramie Tunsil.
What did you? By the way, good job getting DeMeco to just openly say that the starters were going to play. Like, I don't know if he just was anticipating someone asking or what. Like, it just seems like we go ho hum, and then you ask him about that. How important are the reps? And then boom, he admitted it.
He actually gave me a better answer than what I was looking for. My question was, do you value reps differently? A practice rep versus a preseason game rep versus a joint practice rep? Like, do those, and I was talking about really in the evaluation of guys that need to make the team. And then he basically explained, yeah, at some point you have to get tackled in the preseason before you get ready to get tackled in the regular season, and starters are going to play on Friday. And I was like, okay, all right. Well, that's not exactly what I was looking for, but I still got what I needed out of that. So that was good.
What did you make of the scene? You kind of set it out. Looked like a football field of dreams type of vibe there, my friend.
So the Texans built that field. Like they sent their grounds crew up to Ohio to make sure that the field that they practiced on, because the university school, which is the name of the location they're practicing, where Nick Caserio went to high school, they play and do most of their practicing on turf. So there was large patches of grass that some of the other sports use that play on grass. And so the Texans sent their ground crew to Ohio to make sure it was an NFL ready field for the team to practice on. So, I mean, honestly, it looked as good as the Methodist Training Center. I mean, out there, it's pristine, perfect. They're the first football team to ever really get out there. And
shots fired, dude.
I just said it looked as good. I mean, they do a good job in Houston.
I don't think it looked as good.
I was there, so observed it in person.
Yeah, don't talk to me about that, sir. It's too soon. It's pretty personal.
But,
by the way, what'd you order? I know you didn't just order a burger and fries. I know you had to throw something else in.
No, so they have so their burger's it's a double cheeseburger with two different sauces on it.
Okay.
It's like a tartar sauce and like a barbecue sauce. It's actually pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have these things called I don't remember. They're basically, you remember Arby's loaded potato bites?
Yeah, that's my least favorite.
It's kind of like that. It's almost like a mashed potato, but they have jalapenos in it. And then the guy recommended that I get them Cajun style. They were very good.
Okay. Yeah, on the I got to address something real quick before we get into something else that's really important.
What?
This is from In the Life of Colby. Arby's ain't it, man. And then 979 H-Town, Arby's sucks. First of all, that was my first job, my friend. So you're hitting really, really close to home. That was the first time I had the thrill of getting a check. Okay, back when I was 16. Second of all, Arby's does not suck. A lot of times when you work somewhere, you don't like it. Arby's does not suck, my friends. Does not suck.
I love Arby's.
Yeah, goes in. So what do you make of the John Mechie situation? Because this is another practice, and we're used to hearing Diggs, Dell, Collins making plays, but now you have Robert Woods scoring a touchdown. What are we doing here with Robert Woods? I feel like it's just been assumed for damn near half a year that Robert Woods won't be on this team, and here we are. We're a month and a week-ish away from the start of the season, and he's still out here. And we're talking about John Mechie, and we're talking about all these other guys that have kind of flashed a little bit more than John Mechie. What are we doing when it comes to Robert Woods and John Mechie?
And Mechie had a touchdown today too. Wasn't as impressive as Robert Woods' touchdown, but Mechie had a touchdown today. Xavier Hutchinson had a touchdown over in the corner, probably the best catch of the day. It was incredible. Skied up for it, and Mills threw him a laser over in the back corner of the end zone. Look, it's a hardy competition to figure out who the 5th and 6th wide receiver is on this team. Skoranek and Mechie and Hutchinson and Woods are all in it. Woods has been a lot more quiet than these other guys throughout training camp, but he provides a punt return option that Skoranek doesn't, that Hutchinson doesn't, and Mechie doesn't, should he make the team. But, he had one of the better plays that any of them have had today with that touchdown. And, the defenders are going to claim they could have tackled him, but they weren't there when he split the defenders and took it up the field. So it was a really good play by Woods. This feels like it's going to go down to the wire with these guys. And then it may come into a conversation about how can they manipulate the roster to keep as many of them as possible. And if there's anything that you can do, like, God forbid one of these guys gets hurt. Okay, well, let's stash him on IR for a year and give him another shot again next year if it's Mechie or Hutchinson. Skoranek's special teams value is apparent. He had a really nice catch over the middle today. He actually almost did a puke and rally. He was like dry even on the sidelines and didn't throw up and then got back in there. I was like, okay, all right, cool. But it's a stiff competition between those guys. And I would tell you, if they cut it down today and they had a team tomorrow, it'd be Skoranek and Xavier Hutchinson. But there's plenty of time.
What about Woods?
He'd be the first guy out. He'd be the 7th wide receiver.
So him and Mechie out?
Him and Mechie out. Yep.
Okay. I mean, that would be interesting. Woods is
so you could, if you're Nick Caserio, surely you could find some general manager across football that would think that they need a veteran like Robert Woods in their wide receiver room.
I think if you trade Mechie for like a 6th or 7th, I don't think it would be impossible to think about.
I don't know that he has I don't know if he has value to that level. Maybe you just bet on potential if you're the next team that Mechie plays for. But could you, I don't believe you could get John Mechie to the practice squad. It's like somebody on just the open market will take a swing based on the draft capital the Texans invested in the potential there. But, you've got to worry about 2024. Like in the grand scheme of the Houston Texans for the next decade, a couple of 5th, 6th wide receivers and like that drastically affecting their career, that doesn't matter as much as the 2024 season and making sure that if you miss Collins for a week or Diggs for a week or Noah Brown goes down as your key backup wide receiver, that you have a guy that you can really trust there on the depth chart.
Yeah, I'm with you. The Mechie thing is going to be interesting. I need to see him late in the game. I've said this a few times, but I need to see him late in the game. What did you make of them signing Cam Irving? Like, what are we doing here? Is that just why not?
Jalen Thomas got hurt, so one of their backup linemen got hurt, so they just needed the body.
So let's just get a look at Cam Irving.
Well, yeah, he's the offensive line version of Cam Akers. Okay, you're in here, you get an opportunity. You were available for a reason. Now, if you have a couple of snaps in here and you get something going, let's see what you got.
Yeah, the offensive line is interesting. Like, do you think is Charlie? Where is Charlie Heck right now? We're going deep in the sticks. I just don't like. It used to be whenever someone was hurt, Charlie Heck's out there. Whether it's right tackle, whether it's left tackle, he's there. And I was surprised they actually brought him back.
The way DeMeco Ryans talked about Blake Fisher today, I almost expect when Tunsil is back at practice that Fisher might spell Titus Howard a couple of times, give Howard a couple of days off, and play right tackle. And so,
he is ranked ahead of him in Madden.
Well, Fisher is your swing tackle, and by the nature of the conversation, he needs to be able to play left and right tackle if he's going to be your swing tackle, which was what George Fant was able to do last year. Fant could play both. So finding out who that other tackle is behind Fisher, I mean, Heck getting hurt really hurts his case to make this team and be that 4th tackle for this team, because they got to keep 10 offensive linemen. With the injuries that they had last year, and maybe only 8 of those 10 are currently on the team. They go find 2 other guys, but they got to keep 10 offensive linemen just because they went through so many offensive linemen, and you've got so many guys that have a significant injury history. So you got a pretty good idea of who the left tackle or right tackle on, week 1 in Indianapolis is. Tunsil, Green, Scruggs, Mason, Howard. Fisher's your key backup. There's 6. He's your tackle backup. Patterson's your backup center. There's 7. Kendrick Green's your backup center, and your backup guard. There's 8. Now you got to find a 4th tackle and another guard. And is that guy on the team? Is that Nick Broker, who's been around this organization for over a year now? Like, I don't know exactly who that is. I can't imagine it's David Sharp. He hasn't been getting the opportunities. That's the free agent they signed from Carolina. But when Blake Fisher leaves practice today, Sharp was the left tackle.
It does, like, of all the things that you watch in practice, sometimes you can see guys like not getting as much reps in skill positions, and the coaches just want to look at other guys. But it does feel like in my time covering training camps, and what are we, probably like 14 years or whatever, that you can usually tell who they like at offensive line. Like, it's not really ever like a mystery. That's one of the things that if you look up and over the course of like 2 weeks, very rarely does all of a sudden someone just come out of nowhere and it's like, oh, wow, this guy was getting all the reps with the 2s, and then this guy just came out of nowhere. Very rarely does that happen.
Well, and that's why it feels like Patterson has been very much, locked into that backup center spot, and he hasn't played some left guard to push Kenyan Green or Kendrick Green. And Kenyan Green talked about this. He was at the podium today, and he said,
by the way, he seems a lot more comfortable up there, doesn't he?
Yes, he does. I felt kind of bad for him because everybody got their one-on-ones and their other stuff, and it was just like me and like Aaron Wilson talking to him. Like, everybody just walked away. It's like he was right after DeMeco. But he talked about this. He's like, for them to succeed as an offensive line, they've got to play together. They've got to learn how to work together. And there's so many intricacies in the way they operate from an offensive line standpoint that they've got to all be on the same page. And they're only going to get that by keeping those guys all together in the same spot. So, I mean, that lends itself to, hey, Laramie Tunsil needs to get in there at some point so they can all get used to that. But, that left guard through right tackle situation has been, the same basically from day one of training camp. Not even basically. From day one of training camp, it's been the same. And then, Fisher's the guy until Tunsil's healthy.
I like that there's like a fluid process when it comes to rookies. And I'm not, I'm not saying that there's even like a large enough sample size to say that it's a thing, but I think there's at least like some open-mindedness where Lassiter's been CB1 from the beginning. Stover's been tight end 2, 3, whatever from the beginning. Mm-hmm. You've had Fisher at left tackle, no questions asked. He's the starting left tackle with Tunsil out.
Yep.
So I don't think this happens. Well, last year we saw CJ and Mills kind of rotating and all that. But I don't like bringing it up, but like with O'Brien, I don't think that happens. I think we see Charlie Heck start at left tackle. I think we see maybe Akuda or something like that at cornerback.
Yeah.
And then we see, Cade Stover behind, like at the very back end of the depth chart. So obviously it has to do with the player. I don't think it's just philosophical, we're going to throw these guys to the fire no matter what. But I do like that there's an open-minded, fluid process, regardless of where the guys are drafted.
Well, that's the thing to me is it's for DeMeco Ryans, it's the player. If you're the second best cornerback, go be the starter opposite Stingley. That's Kamari Lassiter. But like O'Brien, it was philosophical. Like, he just did not put rookies in positions to have that opportunity. And, he's famous for the rookies don't know anything. And then this team went out there and on the back of a rookie class that was super impressive, went out there and had an awesome year last year because they had a head coach that trusted a bunch of rookies. And so, that's one of the philosophical issues that Bill O'Brien had amongst many other things that made him a poor coach.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't like to bring up BOB, although I do.
Labor Day is almost here. Let's go. Florida State.
Oh, Florida State versus BC.
Florida State, Boston College is your Labor Day game. Might have to buy me a shirt.
So what was Lassiter up to? Just chilling, hanging out?
I did not see him.
Okay. Well, damn, dude. It's a damn shame.
I did not see him. Yeah, the today was the first day. And look, we talked about all the defensive guys that were out. Today was the first day that I can definitively say, without question, the offense had the better day. Any of those days where the offense had a better day previously, it was like, it'd be like if it's an MMA fight, it'd be a split decision. Like this was a knockout. Offense had a much better day than the defense. Of course, you're missing 4 or 5 key defenders.
Yeah, but I mean, CJ also likes Ohio, man. On that
likes Ohio. It's throwback to the Buckeye days. Cade Stover got to go to the farm and hang out for a couple days after the Hall of Fame game. I thought
okay.
I thought that was he revealed that.
Derek, don't get me started on the plane. I was connecting to Florida yesterday. It was a bleep show, brother.
Landry's here. Landry's here in spirit, but because of spirit, he's not.
Yeah. It was free, by the way. That's not my normal choice. It was just a free thing. I opened a Spirit credit card, like, God dang, probably when I was like 22, 23, something like that, whenever, because they had the only red line to Vegas. If you're going to fly Spirit, like all the way to Vegas, it's good. And they had the midnight. So I would sometimes go to Vegas couple nights a month on the red eye. So you go at midnight and be there and blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
Built up the credit there and just had a free flight. And
don't
do connected flights there. That's a big mistake.
There's a freaking hurricane in Florida. You can't plan for that.
Yeah, I could have. It is hurricane season. It's Florida, so maybe if I would have overthought it, I could have. But it happens, man.
Yeah,
looking forward to it.
Let's see if I got anything just that I didn't maybe get into the. Man, Steven Sims, for a guy that's trying to make the.
Yeah, he's falling off. He's like a non-factor now.
For a guy that's trying to make the team as wide receiver, he sure has a lot of drops. Petrie from the nickel spot had it had been a collision, but he'd have won. A great run stuff. Like the defensive line had it. They attacked and the offensive line had it blocked almost perfect. And Petrie just looped around and just smashed. I didn't get to see which running back it was. Dare Gumbawale just smashed Dare Gumbawale. No gain. Would have been a huge play. Defense was, pretty pumped about that one. Didn't have a lot of great defense moments. But that was one of them.
Yeah.
That was one of them. Heinisch and Davis looks pretty good. They end up repping together a lot at defensive tackle, Khalil Davis and Kurt Heinisch. They looked pretty good a couple of times. They had a sack at one point. They forced a tackle for a loss. They put some pressure on Davis Mills a couple times. That duo didn't look as good in the Hall of Fame game as they look today. But, hey, maybe a couple days, you see what you did wrong and you figure some stuff out and you bounce back.
Yep. Well, are you going to Angelo's?
That's the plan. I'll do my stream here in a little while, and then what is it? Half price pizza, right?
Yeah.
And I got to get the deep dish.
$3 pints. Yeah, it's not like real deep dish. It's good, man.
It's like a Cleveland deep dish, right? It's like a unique.
I don't even know what that is. But yeah, it's great. Yeah.
Apparently, there's a Cleveland deep dish specialty around these parts.
Who else is going? Anyone else?
I'm gonna put the. It's not the bat signal because I don't want everybody to see it, but let's send the invites out.
Okay, I'll let you have that one, buddy.
Let's send the invites out. Oh, I got a CJ Henderson one for you. This is
okay.
Obviously he's playing a lot with no Lassiter and Okudah, and Nico Collins he bodies him in the front part of the end zone, and Henderson's all over him. Flags are flying, and it's like, okay, clearly pass interference, not great. And the offense, I guess, to give Nico Collins that rep and actually get a rep out of it, they ran the exact same play, the very next play, and Henderson was ready for it. Sky's up there with Nico, bats it away, much better play than the first one. So good job by Henderson. He's real far behind Okudah and trying to make the team. So, any positives he gets probably helps him out a lot. So,
yeah, he has an opportunity. It's just He's
I
got to
can't
do
fig-
something.
I did a roster projection yesterday. I can't figure out who the last cornerback's going to be.
Well, it could be him. I mean,
It could be him. It could
He
be
was
Mike.
getting special teams reps too, which I think helps. They like Mike Ford's like active. Like Mike Ford kind of has like a
That's who Mechie beat for the touchdown today.
yeah. Well, that's gonna happen to your fourth or fifth corner, and we know Mechie practices well at times.
Is it gonna be Miles Bryant, the little slot guy?
Well, they had him returning kicks pretty early the other day, did they not?
Yeah. He's an option for kick return.
Yeah.
I still can't definitively tell you who the punt returner or the kick returner is going to be. They've tried out so many people. I'm telling you, Tank is going to be an option for punt return.
Yeah, at times. Maybe not the whole time. Dominic says, is Cleveland a dump? I picture it being up. No, it's tight, dude. Especially downtown. Downtown Cleveland's tight, man. It's really downtown Cleveland is better than it's better than most downtowns because you have everything right there.
Yeah, I did some downtown Cleveland exploring yesterday. It's real nice. It's it's walkable to a lot of different things, a lot of stuff, concentrated in one area. And then they have other little offshoot areas that have a lot of stuff. And this is something I didn't know about Cleveland. It's nicknamed the Forest City. I did not expect this many trees in and around Cleveland.
It's a bad rap. Now, if you go outside of downtown, you can get caught slipping in the wrong spot for sure. But
I mean, that's every city in the United States.
Yeah, but Cleveland, it can be.
There's some rough parts.
It'd be pretty wild, man.
You lived downtown when you lived here, right?
Downtown, man, right there, between
a big high rise.
It was a high rise that was value, man. It was. We had a rooftop pool. It was cheap though.
I drove past what is it, Progressive Field, where the
right down there. I was towards the lake, It's connected. There was a Chinese restaurant downstairs,
and then
the station was right across the street.
And then the way it took me back to where I'm staying, it drove me past whatever the name of the Brown Stadium is. It's not Progressive Field. It's in
all Brown, isn't it?
I thought they named it something else. I don't know. The WWE, they kept calling it Brown.
Dome. They're trying to get a dome.
I tell you what, there's some of that lakefront stuff is really nice that they've got.
The thing about Cleveland is you're there at the right time. If you're going in the winter, you're going to be this.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Oh my God, it's brown out. Because I left the day before it snowed. People ask me, you were in Cleveland? Yeah, I went from ESPN to Cleveland, and I was there 6 months. Now, you ask, what 6 months was it? Well, I joined the morning show when LeBron and the Cavs were in the Eastern Conference Finals. They won the championship. Got to go to every game, cover that, go to the parade. The Indians, dumped that, censor. They went to the World Series, Game 7 against the Cubs. Stipe Miocic won the UFC title in Cleveland, and he is a god there. So there was that. And then the Republican National Convention was there, and I was able to lease out my apartment for 3 days for $2,000 to some media guy. So I had cousins there. So I just I didn't want to be, I just said, hey, I'll go stay with the cousins. $2,000 for 3 days in the apartment. And it wasn't even any real nice apartment. And I got to chill. So yeah, it was tight. And I left the day before it snowed.
And didn't the
minor league hockey team,
the Lake Erie Monsters, won a championship too.
Yeah, I was the good luck.
Then you got to Houston, the Astros won.
Yeah, I got to Houston, the Astros won. Just kind of been balling, dude.
Yeah,
ever since. But yeah, man, enjoy Angelo's. I will tell you, I would recommend getting a small cheesesteak and a small deluxe, and then just work your way down the Lake Erie pints or whatever. Yeah, Lake Erie. Wait, what's it called?
Okay.
Yeah, just work your way down the Lake Erie pints. They're $3. Normally, I go back and forth probably about 9 pints, and then get you a large. And normally, don't get a large because you want to mix it up. So get deluxe and a Philly cheesesteak, because the Philly cheesesteak they do with the normal sauce too. So it goes ham. So the deluxe. Now, if you want a deluxe plus and you like pineapple and stuff like that, you can do that. If you want
the website says you can only order one pizza on a Monday, but so are they gonna break that rule for me? They're gonna let me get multiples?
I figured if you went with someone else, y'all can each order a pizza.
That's a good idea, actually.
So you order. Me and my boy Jay Shu would order that.
I was being pizza selfish.
Yeah, we go hoop for like 5 hours and then go there. All right, man. Appreciate you, my man. Sorry I couldn't be there. The airline for that, but hey, we still got this thing covered, and be live streaming for the game. Someone suggested we should do like a Manning cast during away games. That seems a little crazy.
We'll see what we come up with.
Yeah, we'll figure something out. We'll be as creative as we possibly can. Would like to collaborate. We don't a lot. Maybe we'll do something exclusive. Who knows? Stoots, appreciate you for coming through.
Absolutely, man. Thank you. I got a meeting to run to, so I got to go.
Oh, wow. Look at you. Big time. Holler at me.
See
Cody
Thanks.
Houston football right here in the locker room. Appreciate everyone for coming through. Be sure to subscribe, like, right along. DeMeco says the starters will play. We'll talk about this more tonight on the live stream, nightly at 10:30 Central, and we'll continue to cover this squad. Starter's going to play CJ Stroud. We're going to see him playing football in about 4 days. Always remember, whether the starters play or not, when it comes to this Texans stuff, we're all in it together. Thanks for coming through.
Headlock, localize every time. Can't stop, won't stop. Yeah, we top 2 and we not too. Plugged in daily digital on YouTube. We got taste for days. Opinions to give, we got takeaways.